Welcome back to the video blog. Daniel Mezei is my name, your PMD for Hire, producer of marketing and distribution, pmdforhire.com. Not every film deserves to get made. I've talked about this before, but I'm going to just repeat the message. Not every film deserves to be made in the democratic filmmaking era. The democratic filmmaking era in the sense that gear is cheap, ideas are plentiful, and people have a lot of time on their hands because the economy is such that people aren't getting hired. Young graduates of film school, filmmakers, would-be filmmakers, director, producer, writer, combination type roles, they step into the breach and they make films without having really thought out the content, the plot, the dialogue, without having really fleshed out the idea in a proper development process. They just get out there, grab the camera, just like the one that I'm speaking on right now, and they try to shoot something, slice it together because the software is available, and try to piece it off as a kind of a done, finished movie. Now, I'm not going to be the one who's going to sit here in front of you and dictate to you the terms of what is art and what is not. What should be considered to be high art, what should be considered to be low art, abstract art, direct on-the-nose art, or any other kind of genre or drama type material. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that only the great films get distributed. Whether they get distributed on a DIY, do-it-yourself basis or through a distribution company, only the great ones, not the good ones, the great films get distribution. And the fact of the matter is, when you can just pick up a camera and shoot what you want to shoot, anybody's going to shoot anything. You can teach any old technique to any willing person with an easy-to-point-and-shoot camera. If you don't sit there and work on the story in a real fulsome sort of a way, you're going to end up producing pulp. I've listed today on the blog a series of different characteristics of what I consider to be worthwhile so-called democratic era filmmaking, and stuff that I don't think really should be put out there, or at least should try to recoup money. It's amazing the kind of projects that are being put out there that filmmakers are trying to earn money from. What you're basically doing is you're sullying the field for the rest of the indies out there that are trying to make money off of their legitimate, decent projects that are casted in a worthwhile and sort of a didactic process, that go through a developmental process to weed and whittle away the fat and the chaff of a screenplay, to ensure that dialogue lines, for example, are being written with some degree of gravitas and meaning, to ensure that expositional sections in a screenplay are written properly, to ensure that, let's say, things that are going on in front of the camera are actually being shot properly by somebody who knows, a practitioner of the craft, a proper director of photography and a camera person who know how to shoot those things. And unfortunately, just a lot of stuff's being shot and put out there just because, and it's being uploaded to YouTube with the hopes that it's going to become a viral sensation and a takeoff, in which, you know, whatever happens if you become a if you become a YouTube, same thing. If you become a YouTube or Google partner, that you end up making revenues from your video instead of actually putting out a decent film. Just because you have the power in your hands to shoot something doesn't mean that you go out there and just shoot it and stuff the channel. It makes it harder for the other people that are trying to put legitimate projects or mount legitimate projects out there. Moreover, you have no respect for your audience. Those people that are on the other line of the computer, they're not just sort of like faceless, nameless Frankensteins. They're real people with real schedules and real lives in real time. You don't have to stuff the channel and make it difficult for them to go through 5 minutes of your film only to realize that it's not really worth their time. Again, I don't want to go through my whole blog post here on the video blog, because if you want to read the blog post, it's up there. I put it under the title of Some of the Perils of the Democratic Filmmaking Era. Go ahead and read it. I listed in full detail, repeating some of the details here on the video blog, but in any event, I just wanted to reinforce it here by looking at you straight in the eyes and telling you in a four-eyed conversation that just because you have a right to doesn't mean you should. Now, you can go ahead and throw brickbats at me, and you can call me all kinds of 4- and 7-lettered names beginning with the letters F and S, and you can make all kinds of fun about my appearance, and you can make all kinds of fun about whatever you want, or the fact that the ones that do can and the ones that can't teach, and all that yakety-yak that people would say against somebody in my position who's actually coming out with this kind of incendiary statements. But the truth of the matter is, there's way too much content out there, and it's only getting worse. And YouTube loves it because they get their metrics up and they get people like you looking at all kinds of different videos, and their advertisers love it. But that's not really what's going to save let's say, independent film. That's only going to make the situation worse. We're trying to cull, narrow down the field. Think about what you put out there. If it takes more time for you to put it out there before you put it out there, then take as much time as you need before you put it out there. Have it test marketed. Put it in front of groups of people before you actually release it and call it a release. Things like that. Go to the blog post, check it out. pmdforhire.com/blog. And then let me know what you think. I'd be interested in your comments there or even a video response. So that's the subject of today's video blog. Perils in the democratic filmmaking era. My name? Adam Daniel Mezei. I'm a little bit, not irate, but I'm a little bit miffed today. Because I've been receiving a lot of proposals and looking at a lot of projects that are just basically K-A-K. Cuck. That's right. They're cucky. And I don't want you to make cucky projects. I want you to make projects with some balls. Thanks again for watching. Catch you again tomorrow. It's a rainy day here in Toronto, otherwise known as Fort Lauderdale on ice. Wishing you the best of things.